Okay. 7:02 here Central Time, and I haven't had anybody join in the past like 30 seconds or so I'm going to get started so that we're respectful of everybody's time. But before we get started, I just want to thank you all for being here to celebrate this school year with us. I'm looking forward to everything that's going to happen this semester and helping you all save lives. And I know you are all super busy, so thank you for taking some time out of your evening to join us and chat with your fellow chapter leaders. Tonight, we're going to focus on a few things. First, I'm going to introduce myself if you don't know me, and then we're going to introduce our special guest, and then we're going to have a chance for you all to introduce yourselves so you can get to know your fellow chapter leaders. And then I want to talk a little bit about the importance of the work you're doing on campus. Then we're going to share some tips and resources from SOTA National to make sure that your semester is life-saving. And then at the end, we're going to give you all a chance to talk with each other about your plans and that so you can get ideas for other SOTA chapters. So if you don't know me, I'm Nicole. I'm SOTA's program director. Before we talk about me in terms of SOTA, I wanted to share a little bit about myself as like a person. I attended York Community High School for high school, and that's located in Elmhurst, Illinois, which is a western suburb of Chicago. And then I started college in 2015 at Washington University in St. Louis. And when I started college, I thought I wanted to go to medical school. So anything medicine related on my first few weeks, and honestly, my first years on campus was just like super interesting to me. So when I got on campus, the first ever original SOTA chapter was hosting a tour of our local OPO, specifically the surgical suites. And once I saw that they're hosting a tour of some surgical suites, I was all on board. But once I went to that tour, I heard Sarah's story, and Sarah is SOTA's founder and president. And I heard from our local OPO, and I realized that organ donation obviously was not only a way to save lives, but a way to help like donor families heal. And it became a cause that was super duper important to me. And sorry, I got a little message down below and I got distracted. But what was I saying was that it sort of became my go-to activity throughout college. And I was the marketing chair of that SOTA chapter, and then I was president. And I got re-involved after I graduated in 2019, but I got re-involved in 2020 when I became a volunteer for the national organization. And by 2021, I was a full-time staff member here at SOTA National. And today I still live in St. Louis, which is where I went to college, which is why I have a little picture of an arch here. And I live there with my boyfriend, Kyle, and our two dogs. And our two dogs are very spoiled. And on the weekends, you'll find us at the park. We really like to have picnics as a family when the weather is nice. Or you'll find us at a new restaurant. We really like trying new restaurants. And surprisingly, this food scene in St. Louis is pretty robust for it being St. Louis. So I definitely enjoy living here. But my main role at SOTA is to do a little bit of everything, if I'm honest, as program director. I manage the national team, and I help grow our programs and partnerships in a strategic way. And I help fundraise, so I raise money for SOTA to make sure that we have enough money to fulfill our mission and support all of you. And you have probably seen a lot of me in your inbox lately, and via text and via Slack. I've been your point of contact, I would say, probably since June time when Ryan, our former program coordinator, left the SOTA team. But I'm really happy to share that we have a new team member to take over that role, and that is Sophia Renner. Sophia is on the call today, and she's actually our special guest. She is going to be having the role of student engagement coordinator. And she just joined the team last week. So she's still settling in a little bit, but over the next few weeks, she's slowly going to become your point of contact at SOTA. So just to clarify, I'll be your point of contact for the next few weeks until Sophia is settled in. But because she's here and part of the team, and we had this really special event tonight, I wanted to make sure she was here and that you got to meet her. So I'm going to turn it over to Sophia to introduce herself and tell you a little bit more about her.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sophia. I'm so excited to be on this call tonight and finally getting to introduce myself to all of you. As Nicole said, I'm new to the team here at SODA, and I'll be the student engagement coordinator. I'm originally from the San Francisco Bay Area, where I went to a small high school. It was all girls called Notre Dame Belmont, if anyone is familiar from the area. For college, I went out of state to New Orleans and attended Tulane University for the past 4 years. I just graduated in May. So I'm a very recent grad. This is my first full-time position, so I'm super excited to be doing something so meaningful. And I became really passionate about organ and tissue donation because I had an internship with a bone marrow recruitment organization during my time as an undergrad student, and I absolutely loved it. And I loved working towards something so meaningful. So that's sort of where that interest for me was sparked. And I was also a public health major, which revolves a lot around medicine and just different health benefits and things like that in general. So I had a lot of education on the subject before I was even super passionate. And I minored in sociology, which was also super helpful in working with people and things like that. And a fun fact about me, this cringeworthy picture that I included is from my very intense One Direction phase. For anyone who might not be familiar, because I don't even know the age range of their fan base these days, but they were a boy band. And Harry Styles is still holds a very close place in my heart. And I may or may not have a life-size cardboard cutout of him stored under my childhood bed, but if anyone asks, I don't. So that's a fun and semi-embarrassing fact that you all know. So a little bit more about what I'll actually be doing. My main responsibility is actually all of you. I'm here to be a mentor and a guide, and really just anyone can come to me with any questions, comments, concerns, feedback, conversations that you want to have. I'm going to be your point person, like Nicole said, in just a few weeks when I'm a bit more settled in. But I'm super excited. I'm going to be working with you guys to host your events and collect all of your feedback and help you with really anything that you need this semester and this year. And I'm also in charge of recruiting some new chapters and bringing in new people and helping all of us achieve our goal of saving lives. So I'm super excited to get to work with all of you and start communicating with you very, very soon. And with the final emergence of fall time, I was just telling Nicole I went to Home Goods to buy some fall decor for my apartment. It just makes me think of coffee and fun beverages, pumpkin spice lattes, everything like that. So I figured a fun icebreaker question to start with would be, what's all of your go-to coffee orders? So if anyone wants to unmute yourself or text it in the chat, whatever you're comfortable with, feel free to share.
I actually don't like coffee.
Tea? Nothing caffeinated?
I do like tea. Mint tea is my favorite.
Mint tea? Yeah, I'm a big chai tea girl too.
I
Not so
haven't
much.
had that one.
Oh, gotta try it. It's a good in between. Has a nice fall taste too. A little cinnamon. It's great.
I'll have to add that to my list.
Anyone else? Coffee, tea? Doesn't have to be just one.
I'm drinking tea now, actually.
Oh, what type of tea you have?
It's they just have this I live in the sorority house, and they have some throat coat tea. And it's very soothing.
Yeah, I'm sure they should have that stocked up. I got so sick all the time when I was in college, so yeah. I'm glad they have that for you.
It happens.
I'm seeing some in the chat too. Caramel Frappuccino, love Frappuccinos. Ice mocha with oat milk. Oat milk, it's like hard to beat oat milk, honestly. Not even almond milk really beats it for me. Hot black coffee, yeah, you can't go wrong, honestly, with black coffee either. So those were great. Thank you guys for sharing those. I love that. And yeah, I'll be talking with you a little bit more later in the call.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Sophia. We're definitely so excited to have you on the team. And I'm really excited for our students to talk to you one-on-one when you are their mentor in the next few weeks. I'm sure you'll be reaching out to introduce yourself more formally then, but I'm so glad that all of you got to join our call. So you got like a little sneak peek behind the scenes and be the first to meet Sophia. Before we move on to the next slide, I do want to share my coffee order. I am not a big coffee person either. It's not that I don't like it. I'll drink it occasionally, but for some reason, I'm just more of like a tea latte person. So chai tea latte with oat milk or like a matcha latte with oat milk is usually like my go-to as well. Big fan of oat milk too, and I actually converted my boyfriend to oat milk recently. He was like a 2% milk type of guy, which I just can't. I don't like milk like that, so it was kind of gross for a while to me. But now he's fully converted to oat milk. He's usually a cappuccino person now with oat milk, and so yeah, we're big oat milk people over here at this household too. But next, I want to talk about the importance of what you're all doing on campus. Obviously, like I'm super, super biased, and I believe in the life-saving power of students because I've seen it firsthand being a sort of chapter leader and now helping all of you do advocacy on campus. But I'm not the only one that believes in students, and SODA's not the only one that believes in students. There's actually been research studies that show that students have a very important role to play in organ, eye, and tissue donation advocacy. And one of these studies was done by Dr. Arthur J. Rubens. He has a doctorate in philosophy, and he did a research study about multicultural students and their perceptions of organ, eye, and tissue donation. But I believe that his conclusions could be applied to students across the board. So I wanted to share a few of those conclusions with you. The first conclusion that Dr. Rubens found was that being educated means you're more likely to be an organ donor. So by advocating on high school and college campuses, you're reaching the perfect audience who is likely to be an organ donor. Also, just being on a school campus alone is super important because students are there to learn. So they're super primed to learning about new perspectives, new ways to help people. And according to Dr. Rubens, they are captive audiences on campuses. So you're at the perfect place by just being at a school and doing advocacy there. And last but not least, he found that there's a big correlation in between knowing somebody who was either a registered donor or believed in organ donation, and then being a registered donor or believing in organ donation yourself. So that peer-to-peer advocacy that you're doing on your college and high school campuses is super, super powerful. And it's even more powerful because there's 51 sort of chapter groups that is doing this advocacy across the US. This is a huge milestone that we're now across 50 chapters in the US, because like I said, I started my SODA journey in 2015 when there was just one SODA chapter, and now we're at 51, which is a huge, huge deal. So definitely pat yourself on the back for being one of these 51 SODA chapters. And these 51 SODA chapters are making a super, super life-saving impact. Last semester was an amazing semester, and you all educated over 22,000 people about organ, eye, and tissue donation, and registered over 1,000 people as organ, eye, and tissue donors. And this was your best semester yet. You'll see here, there's a little chart that shows the past few semesters. And right here is spring 2022, which you can tell just by looking at it, you did like 5 times the amount of impact that you guys have ever done, which is so exciting. The green is the number of people you've educated, and the blue is the color of people. I mean, the blue is the people you have registered. So again, a huge, huge congratulations to you all for making this life-saving impact, because it would not be possible without the wonderful events you hosted last semester. You did some wonderful registration events and education events that made this life-saving impact possible. So it is just wonderful. So again, congratulations for all the hard work that you're doing. Now that we're going into a new semester and a new school year, we want to make that same life-saving impact this year. So as you're planning your activities on campus, you should keep two things in mind, or you should have two goals in mind as you're doing those events and activities on campus. The first is education. You should really focus on educating your community about organ, eye, and tissue donation. A suggested goal from Soda National is try to educate about 300 people this semester. You should also try to register people as organ, eye, and tissue donors, and try to register about 30 people this semester as donors. These goals, that 300 people educated and 30 people registered, are truly just suggestions. I know that this isn't always feasible for all of our chapters to reach, so please set your own goals. And of course, we love to see it when you go beyond these goals as well. It's really whatever is best suited for your campus. And as you're educating people and registering on campus, make sure that you're keeping track of your impact. It is super, super important that you're keeping track of your impact as it's happening, because we're going to ask you at the end of the semester when we release our semesterly survey. This semester it'll probably be in like December time. Those are two of the most important questions. How many people did you educate and how many people did you register? So like I said, it's much easier to keep track of those numbers now than think of them later in December when you're reflecting on your activities for the school year. So in terms of registration, one really super easy way to keep track of how many people you're registering is just to use your registerme.org links. Every single chapter has their own registration link where you can easily register people, and it'll keep track of how many people you're registering right there, so you can reflect on that number whenever you need to. I will show you how to get those registration links during this call if you don't have access to them already. That's one super easy way to keep track of how many people you're registering. To keep track of the people that you're educating, my tip is just to do attendance or have like a sign-in form whenever you have an education event, so you know how many people you're educating on campus. Does anybody have any questions about the goals or how to educate people or register them? Sounds good. Well, as you're on campus educating, registering your community, don't forget that you're not alone. You have two really important resources that you can use to help you achieve your goals. One being Soda National, of course, and the other being your OPO. Soda National really serves as your student experts on campus. So if you have questions about how to host events, how to grow your chapter, how to find new student leaders for next semester, reach out to me or to Sophia when she's settled so we can talk about that. But in addition to that, we have a few resources that we offer to you all at any time. One is that mentorship that I was mentioning. Feel free to reach out to me or Sophia with questions. We can set up a meeting. We can answer your questions via email, whatever is best for you. Just know that you have a mentor here at Soda to walk you through the process. We also provide you all with up to $200 per semester in event funding. I see our role at Soda as reducing barriers for students in advocacy. So there should never be a cost for you to participate in Soda. So if any costs pop up in terms of your advocacy on campus, submit our event funding request so that we can make sure that cost is covered for you and nothing is coming out of your pocket. In addition to reducing barriers through that event funding, we also want to provide you with supplies so that you don't have to purchase them yourselves. So when you first became a Soda chapter, we sent you a kit full of t-shirts and tablecloths, table runners, buttons, stickers, all of that. And you're able to request refills for any of those supplies at any time free of charge. And again, I'll show you how to get to that on our website very soon. And then also know that we have a big bank of how-to guides on our website that cover things on like how to host an event, how to host a registration drive, again, how to grow your chapter that you can access at any time. So I actually want to show you how you get to those items on our website. So I'm going to pop over here. I'm going to go to sodanational.org, which is our website. And then I'm going to toggle over here to student resources. Or you can just go to sodanational.org/resources. And you're going to scroll down to this tips and resources section. This first button right here will take you to Notion, which has those how-to guides. There's about over 25 of them here, but you can access at any time, and there's tons of different things here. And I also want to call attention to this right here. This is a list of those register me links that I was talking about, where you can track how many people are registering at any time. So I'm just going to do, I know Ariana's on this call, Miami Palmetto Senior High School. Here is their registrations, and you can see how many people they've registered just to this link alone. Oops. Yeah, there's tons of different resources here for you. This button right here will also take you to this Notion guide, but it's particularly supposed to take you to this button right here, which is our templates, social media posts, flyers, and presentations. So we have templates here for you to use at any time, so you don't have to create things from scratch, so you can get started right away. Right here is where you'll request additional supplies whenever you need it. Again, it's just free of charge, so don't worry about any costs associated with it. And here is the form to request funding. Right here, you'll see that we offer up to $200 per semester or $50 per event in terms of funding. However, if you have any ideas that might go a little bit beyond these parameters, submit your request anyways. We are happy to make accommodations for you all, so don't forget that. And then if you scroll down here, there's a really easy button for you to reach out to me and then Sophia in a few weeks at any time to get that hold of that mentorship as well. But I also mentioned that your OPO is another arm of resources or another advisor to your chapter. And we see them as the organ donation experts in your community. So they will provide the organ donation education related advice. And they do that in two main ways. One, they can provide you with donation training. Most OPOs have a volunteer training program that they invest a lot of time in. And they also have a good team of researchers behind them that make this curriculum really, really, really great. So you should definitely take advantage of their wonderful training programs and their curriculum so that you're trained to have successful conversations on campus. So if you're not already trained, or if there's some sort of chapter leaders in your group that are not already trained, reach out to your OPO so that you can get trained. If you don't know who your OPO is, feel free to email me and we'll introduce you to your OPO. Another way for the OPO in your community to help kind of guide you is to provide a local connection to organ donation. I'm in St. Louis, Sophia's in New Orleans, so we are not where you are, chances are, and we don't know the organ donation community best where you are, but your OPO does. So they can do things like provide you connections to organ donation speakers for your events. They can invite you to volunteer events so that you have something to do with your chapter. It's kind of limitless in terms of what connections they can provide to the local organ donation community. So if you're looking for that resource, reach out to your OPO. We're about to move into the discussion portion of the evening. So before we did that, I wanted to see if anybody had any questions about the resources SOTA National provides or the role that OPOs play in your SOTA chapter. Sounds good. I will turn it over to Sophia so she can lead the discussion portion of the semester kickoff party.
Great, thank you. So to wrap up this semester kickoff, as Nicole said, we just have a few questions. The first being, what events do you and your chapter have planned for this semester? So again, feel free to unmute yourself or send in the chat a response.
I can go. I am the president at WVU. And we are going to host a cornhole tournament that is in conjunction with WVU Medicine. And we're going to work with the organ transplant team there and try to raise awareness and have a fun little competition and raise money to eventually make baskets for organ recipients so that we can hand them out at the hospital.
That sounds awesome. I love the interactive element that you guys incorporated there. And I mean, who doesn't love cornhole? It's like easy enough that everyone can do it. So that's super cool. And partnering with people with the same interests, I think is also a really great way to work towards a common goal. So love that. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else have anything?
A fun one that UMass Lowell's Soda has planned for this semester is we're actually going on New England Donor Services Blue and Green Walk in October. And so we're going to have a little meeting beforehand, obviously educating people on organ donation, but also tie-dyeing shirts that New England Donor Services gives to us so that we can all wear it at the walk together. We're partnering up with Soda Northeastern. Our president's actually hashing all of that out as we speak. And so we're going to be two Soda teams in Massachusetts walking the New England Donor Services walk together, which is so exciting.
Yeah, that sounds great. That's really cool that you guys could come together and represent the same cause at the same place. That's a really cool outlet for meeting people with similar interests too. And I love the tie-dyeing idea. That's also a really cute keepsake to have in the future. So another great response. Thank you.
I can go next. My name's Katie McKibben, and I am the president of the chapter at Warsaw Community High School, so in Indiana. And we're doing something kind of similar. Our OPO reached out to us, and there's a organ donor walk that's about, 45 minutes away from us that our chapter is going to go to. And we got some stuff going on with that where we have people volunteering, and then we're doing like it's kind of similar to how some people do like fundraising. I don't really know how to explain it, but like you have people pledge on how far you think you can walk. So we're having people do some of that too, where they're like donating based on how far they think that we're going to walk. So we're doing stuff like that.
Yeah, that's super cool, especially having people get involved before the actual event and stay up to date. I love that pledging concept. I'm definitely familiar with it. So yeah, I love that you guys really incorporated a lot of different elements into one event. So thank you. And
Hi, my name's Callista. Oh, sorry.
Hi, go ahead.
Hi, my name's Callista. I'm the president at the North Lawrence Career Center. It's in Indiana. And one of the things we want to do this year is we're going to do a yarn drive for our local donor network because they make blankets for all the donor heroes and their families. So we think that's a really great way to reach out and get involved with some of the families.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially if it's something that they're already so involved in. I think that's a really great way to reach them too. Something very personal also. Yeah, I love that. Thank you for sharing.
Hey y'all, I'm Allison. I'm the president of the University of Alabama chapter. We are brand new, and in exactly a week, we're gonna have our very first meeting. So if anyone has advice, or honestly, if anyone wants to email me their first meeting PowerPoint, that would be super helpful. I'm excited, and any ideas are welcome.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that actually maybe our next question has to do with any advice. Is that the next question? Let's see. Yeah, so this is a perfect leeway. Thank you for that. For anyone in an established chapter, what advice do you have for new or newer chapters, just in general or in terms of events?
Something that I think was talked about earlier, at Warsaw, we're not a super established chapter, but I was able to get into connection with my OPO right away. And she has been amazing. Like, she has found so many great opportunities for us. She has like driven like 2 hours to come see us multiple times. Like, she's just really gone out of her way to do some really great stuff for us. And she's provided us with a lot of extra like materials and stuff. Like, we got this stuff from Soda too, but she was able to bring some more stuff that we use kind of in our area based on like some demographics and stuff like that we have going on that I think was super helpful. So I would definitely recommend that. And also something that my school does, I don't know if you guys do, but we have a club convocation. So the whole school, all 2,500 of us get in the gym, and each club's president gets to just say a little like 45-second to a minute like talk about their club. So I got to speak at that, and we've had like 20 new members join since that convocation. So I think that's something that, like, if you have like an outreach program that you can sign up like that, I think that's really good.
Yeah, definitely. I know my university also did student fairs similar to that, where that's where I signed up for all of my clubs and stuff like that. So that's always a good place to go at the start of a new semester. I know that's when we had our student fairs. And yeah, as Nicole was saying, OPOs are a really great resource, especially since they're more specific to your geographic location. So they can definitely help out with more specific needs that you guys may have there too. If someone else may have been unmuted there, so feel free to share.
That was me. I'm sorry if there's any background noise. I'm not home right now, but I have a few things. First of all, like the previous person said, OPOs are really helpful. Not just like before you actually start getting members and things like at club fairs. People go crazy for those freebies. Like they will just come up to your stand from out of nowhere just to grab those, and it's a great opportunity to start the conversation, or just hand them like the QR code for them to scan to check out your club. So OPOs, besides the stuff Soda National provides, like last year, our OPO sent us a ton of stuff, even like mugs and pop sockets. And then there's also other organizations you can reach out to. For example, we partnered with the Chris Good Foundation last year, and well, actually the last 2 years, and they did amazing presentations. Well, they did it virtually because they're obviously not in our state. We're in Florida. So they did amazing presentations for our classes, and we continued that. What they also did was they sent us actually more free stuff. They sent us water bottles, pins, stickers, like everything. So we were like well stocked for the entire year for all our events. Another thing we did last year is that we did for National Donor Day in February. That was in February, but like you can obviously do this at any time during the year. We made like a little photo thing, shape of a lifesaver. And we actually got the idea from Nicole. I think she did it when she was in Minnesota chapter. And we wrote, "I'm a lifesaver," with a link to register as an organ donor with Donate Life America. And it doesn't have to be that, but we're gonna also bring that to our club fair that's next week for our school. And people love taking pictures. That's also another thing that attracts a lot of people to your table, is just the opportunity for them to like hold that, take a picture, and they know that their picture is going to be on your Instagram or your TikTok account, and you can tag them. And for Instagram and TikTok, reposting is huge. For example, our school, a lot of we just started, of course, our semester, but we still haven't had our club fair, which is like when clubs usually officially open membership. But we actually opened membership from the first day of school. And it hasn't even been club fair, and we've already had, I think, 21 people fill out our membership form and join our mind and everything. So like the quicker you get it started is the best. And like we have our officers repost everything. And I constantly repost everything on my own personal Instagram, which a lot of kids from school follow me. So that's super helpful too.
Yeah, I'm so happy to hear you've already had so many people interested, even before, a big recruitment event like that. And that was some super great advice in there. A lot of it stuck out to me. Social media is a really great tool. You should all have your SOTA chapter Instagrams, and that can be really great. I love the reposting concept. Everyone loves to repost a good Instagram story. And freebies are awesome. I love the idea of reaching out to your OPO to maybe get some additional merchandise, or any other organizations if you look into them. And we always also provide you guys with stuff like that, as you mentioned. And yeah, just eye catchers, the lifesaver concept was super cool. I think those are all some really, really great ideas. So thank you so much for sharing those.
So can I add one more thing?
Yeah, of course.
So something we realized last year is that with the soda, if you have an email for your chapter that you open specifically for soda, you can actually get a free Canva account for your social media, which was amazing for us because you're technically a nonprofit.
Yeah, that is really awesome. Thank you for sharing that. So now, if anyone needs Canva, that's a super great tool. I actually just started using it for the first time. For anyone who might be unfamiliar, it's really good for just beginners, especially at like editing and creating templates and social media posts, especially. And it's super user friendly. So even if you're not familiar with graphic design, which I personally wasn't at all, it's super easy. It takes you through a great tutorial. So for Instagram posts and stuff like that, that's super useful. So thank you. And unless anyone else has anything to add, we can move on to another question. And the final question I believe that we want to hear back from you guys are, what new resources from Soda National do you want to see on our end? Anything maybe from past semesters or years that you've wanted to give some feedback on or additional support with? Anything like that?
I actually wanted to, it's kind of like more of gratitude, where you guys are so helpful. I'm a recent eBoard member. We just had a big changeover in our eBoard, and I feel like the support we have with our OPO and Soda is so like amazing. Because I was talking to my friend who's in another club, and like we have so almost like little to worry about, and you guys facilitate it so much that like it's so exciting to be part of the club where we have like such support. And so I can't think of any resources right off the bat, but you guys have been so helpful to us at UMass Lowell. Like even like the little logos, like you guys have thought of everything, and it's so awesome to be working with like such an awesome like organization. And so it's kind of more of a thank you than like a request, but what you guys have done so far is like so awesome. And so just wanted to say thank you. Like we couldn't do it without you, really, truly.
Oh, thank you so much for that. Even though I'm new, I can say that I can see how well put together Soda is. It's one of the first things that I noticed just in my first week, last week actually, was all the templates they've provided and all the resources, and everything is just so straightforward and organized. So yeah, that's one of the first things I noticed about Soda too. So it's really great to hear that that is something you can see as well. And Nicole, if you want to add anything.
Took me a while to figure out how to unmute myself, which is embarrassing since we've been using Zoom for like 2 years now. I just want to say thank you so much, Becca. And so all of our sort of chapters, obviously we wouldn't be able to do what we do without all of you either. So I always appreciate like all of your passions for organ donation as well. It definitely means the world to me. It's definitely my favorite part of working with Soda is all of you. So thank you.
And if anyone else wants to share, otherwise I think
I'll go. I personally love the funding we get from Soda because it's super helpful. For example, like the club fair we have next week, I had to go out and buy a bunch of supplies, like the board, and the board was like $20, which was kind of ridiculous, but it's super helpful that Soda provides the funding, and it gives us the opportunity to have so many more resources for attracting new members and advocating for the cause. Because, for example, compared to the other clubs where they have to raise their own funding for membership and other things, sometimes it's difficult for students because, I mean, you don't want to just join, if students don't want to join just one club, those memberships just stack on top of each other and top of each other and turn out so expensive. And like another club at our school, they've been using like the same board for like 5 years because they don't have the funding to even buy a board. So it's really helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. And Nicole mentioned earlier, there is that expense form for you guys to fill out. If you ever need help with funding or anything like that, never let that hold you back, as she said. So it is super accommodating if there's anything additional that you need to make your chapter thrive and succeed the best you can. So never be afraid to reach out and request a little bit extra funding for really anything that you need. Yeah. Well, those were some great responses. Thank you guys for all of your participation in the discussion. I really loved everyone's involvement, and all the responses that you gave were very insightful and helpful for us, and I'm sure for all of you as well. And I'm really happy I got to introduce myself, as I said. I'm looking forward to talking with you all a lot more in the future. So yeah.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Sophia, for leading that conversation section of our evening, and a big welcome from everybody at SOTA National. We're super excited to have you here, and a big thank you to all the SOTA chapter leaders who are able to join us tonight. We're looking forward to working with you all as well and helping you save lives this school year. As always, feel free to reach out at any time if you need support. You can reach us at students at sotanational.org. That's the best way to get in touch with anybody here at SOTA. Right now, like I said, I'll be responding to the emails that hit that email address for now, but when Sophia is fully onboarded, she'll receive those emails and respond to those emails. That's the best way to kind of keep track of who's your point of contact here at SOTA as time goes on, and as Sophia is settling into her role. And as promised, we're going to send you all those $25 Domino's gift cards, but it'll be tomorrow. So we'll send it to the first person who registered from your chapter, if more than one person from your chapter showed up tonight. So just keep an eye out for that tomorrow. But just remember, we're always here for you if you ever need anything. So please reach out, and thank you again for joining us tonight. You're going to have an amazing semester, and you're going to save tons of lives. And we're so happy and honored to help you do that.